This program is about unsolved mysteries within the Transformers universe. Whenever possible, actual family member and police officials have participated in recreating the events. What you are about to see is not a news broadcast.
On August 8th in 2005, the aftermath of an all-out vicious Decepticon attack leaves Autobot City in shambles. Fans and brothers-in-arms alike are shocked to hear that the beloved Autobot commander, Optimus Prime, had died of his wounds following his mortal battle with Megatron. Many fans and Autobots alike had forgotten about the others that had fallen on that fateful day. During the heat of the battle, Autobot corpses lined some of the defense rooms of Autobot City. The attack began approximately a few hours before, aboard an Autobot shuttle. 4 of Optimus Prime's most trusted Autobots were on a mission to Earth to bring back precious Energon. Intercepting their transmissions, the Decepticons would board this vessel and begin an assault on the 4 Autobots aboard. But can a shot to the shoulder actually kill one of the smallest yet one of the strongest Autobots? Are these sightings proof that these Autobots were not killed in the fateful Battle of Autobot City? Is Hasbro responsible for murdering our childhoods on the silver screen? Join me tonight as we attempt to answer these questions on Unsolved Mysteries. In the eyes of Hasbro, Transformers was always about selling toys. Bringing the original Diaclone and Microchange toys over from Japan, the original cast of Transformers was an overwhelming 29 different characters, including ones introduced in 1985, as well as characters not present in either the comics or the cartoon. There was at least an additional 40 characters brought into the mix. Keeping track of them all is certainly no easy task, even for some of the most diligent of Transformers fans. When developing Transformers the movie, which was in a way the introduction to the 1986 toy line, the decision was made to do what censors would not allow for 65 episodes. This was actually showing Transformers die in battle. Since the 1984 toys, and most of the 1985 line too, were no longer on shelves, it was an easy choice of which characters were chosen to die. This even included Optimus Prime. From various interviews with those making the film, not all were on board with killing the main character of the show. Ron Friedman, who is credited as the writer of the film, was adamantly opposed to the death of Optimus Prime. So from his early drafts, the concept of him passing his life force onto the next commander was developed. This was even further developed into the Matrix of Leadership, taking the term from the comics Creation Matrix. And so Ultra Magnus was made as the commander until Rodimus Prime took his place. According to Flint Dille, the series co-writer and story editor, Ultra Magnus being a temporary leader was the plan all along. In fact, I personally asked him on Facebook about this, to which his reply was, "The Matrix fit. It never fit Ultra Magnus right. Sometimes the real leader isn't the one who gets appointed. Think Saul and David from the Bible." According to Buzz Dixon, killing off Optimus Prime was approved thanks to G.I. Joe making the decision to kill off Duke. Because Transformers the movie hit theaters first, and the impact it had with the death of Optimus Prime, they chose to change Duke's death to become a coma.
He's gone into a coma.
And he would come out of it instead. During this coma, Duke dreamt the entire events of the cartoon G.I. Joe Renegades. By the end of the film, a new status quo was established, with Rodimus Prime leading the Autobots and Galvatron leading the Decepticons. Many fan-favorite characters were either killed or reduced to minor appearances, if at all. Some of these deaths were disputed, and some would seem to be undone later on. Therefore, let's take a look at those characters who met their end during the events of Transformers the movie. The first characters we're going to address would be the entire population of the planet Lithon. During the opening moments of the film, Unicron would come and eat the entire planet, and everyone there. One of its inhabitants, Kranix, would escape, only to be captured by the Quintessons. In his cell, he tells Hot Rod and Cup of his planet's fate before he is put on a phony trial.
I repeat, guilty or innocent. Innocent.
And is fed to the Sharktacons. While the early drafts of the film had them as rock people, with Kranix going by the name of Granix, they were later changed into robotic life. In fact, the Transformers Universe profile actually gave an alt mode to the Lithonians, which was used in the Marvel comic adaptation of the film. According to the game Transformers Devastation, Lithone was established when the planet was cyberformed during the mission of Cybertronian expansion. While this might be a different continuity, it does make them Cybertronian in origin. This is important to point out because there are females and children on the planet, which can be a discussion for another day. The next characters to be sent to the Allspark would be the 4 Autobots aboard the shuttle. Almost all of the Decepticons would board with the plan to launch a full-scale assault on Autobot City. Brawn, a small yet strong Autobot, would take a full-powered blast from Megatron in gun mode in his shoulder. While he is shown taking a lot of punishment in several episodes, this blast takes him out completely. Many fans have speculated that he was too tough to go out with just a shot in the shoulder.
Megatron likes a dose of his own medicine. Now that was a kick.
They even point out the blast he took in the episode Fire on the Mountain. Adding more fuel to the fire, when Daniel calls out the names of the Autobots in the mausoleum, Brawn is not one of them. Instead, he names Huffer,
Huffer.
one of the most pessimistic bots ever,
It'll never work. Big waste of time.
as one of the off-screen casualties. He was seen in the film, however, with Cup near Lookout Mountain alongside Bluestreak, Hound, and Sunstreaker. That last one could be Tiger Track, since Sunstreaker is clearly on board the shuttle with Optimus and the Dinobots. Finally, in one of the worst episodes of the original cartoon, Carnage in C Minor, Brawn is seen next to Huffer and the Constructicon Bone Crusher firing on Decepticons. We can chalk up the entire episode of Carnage in C Minor as being an animation error, so therefore we can assume that those 3 were simply meant to be background Autobots, with the animators probably not having any other animation models handy to use. This is especially true since a Decepticon was among them, and Huffer was counted as dead as well. It should also be pointed out that the 1986 Minibots lineup had Outback replace Brawn, and Pipes replace Huffer, so it is possible that it was meant to be them. The blast to Brawn, though, went further than his shoulder. In fact, he is seen on the ground and you can see smoke coming from his back, which indicates the blast went in from the top and an internal explosion blew out his back, killing him but good. The next is the Autobot strategist Prowl, as he is killed by a shot from Scavenger. Ratchet and Ironhide would then take a barrage of blasts, killing the former. Ironhide tried to hold on to Megatron before...
Such heroic nonsense.
Well, I guess that would explain why the toy doesn't have a head. During the Battle of Autobot City, Windcharger's corpse was dragged next to Wheeljack by RC, who barely had a moment to mourn as they needed to fight back against the Decepticons' onslaught. While Springer is running down the stairs, a smokescreen-colored Wheeljack is seen before the close-up of him in proper colors. This was because Smokescreen was shown in storyboards to be the corpse instead of Wheeljack, which leads one to believe that Wheeljack didn't die. In fact, the storyboards show Wheeljack later present in the battle. In Japanese continuity, Wheeljack makes an appearance in Transformers Victory. This was because the film had not yet reached Japan, and they weren't aware of the character's death. This was also an issue with Prowl, who showed up next to Ultra Magnus in Headmasters. To patch this, the Binaltech storyline was developed, and both of their versions of Prowl, whom was Chip Chase reborn as an Autobot, and Wheeljack were interdimensionally displaced into Japanese cartoon continuity. Since Smokescreen wasn't actually shown dead in the film, his appearance in Headmasters wouldn't be a continuity error either. But we have to overlook poor Ironhide's appearance as an animation error. Yep, no other excuse for that one. Especially considering his name is listed in Dark Awakening. According to storyboards, more Autobots were to be among the casualties, but were never animated. While it's possible that they did die, their deaths can't be fully taken as canon. This included Red Alert, who was to be blasted in the back by the Constructicons after he, alongside Ultra Magnus, Trax, and Sideswipe, attacked Devastator. His corpse was also to be seen nearby during Optimus Prime and Megatron's battle. Also near them was the corpse of Trailbreaker. I guess his force field just didn't hold up. Finally, Mirage is seen in a tower, probably nearby to Blur blasting Bombshell out of the sky, before Megatron fires upon him, most likely killing him. This brings us to the Decepticons. All the Decepticons were shown to have survived any injuries they took during the battle. Kickback is seen being carried to Astro Train. In storyboards, Thundercracker is also seen carrying what is said to be a dead Bombshell. However, when he boards, you can see he is empty-handed. Even Megatron survived, even though badly injured by the end of his fight with Optimus Prime.
Don't leave me, Soundwave.
However, once aboard Astro Train, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and the 3 Insecticons were shown to be as badly damaged as Megatron was. So by request by Astro Train, the choice was made to jettison the wounded into deep space. They were reborn, however, by the chaos-bringing Planet Eater Unicron, which sparked a debate about who became who. While we know Megatron became Galvatron, the rest do not bear any resemblance to their former selves. As for Galvatron and his crew, that's a discussion for another day. The newly reborn Decepticons would return to Cybertron led by Galvatron, who would vaporize Starscream. Take note the animation error that the Insecticons and the Seeker Jets were present at Starscream's coronation. It's most likely that they are either the original Insecticons or leftover clones. For the Seekers, Thundercracker's marker is seen in the episode Starscream's Ghost, confirming that all 3 original Seekers met their end, even if reborn. The Seekers present are most likely unnamed generics. Afterwards, Unicron would attack Cybertron's moon bases. While we know Jazz, Cliffjumper, Bumblebee, and Spike survive,
man, we just got word Optimus Prime had become one with the Allspark when this ginormous weird-looking planet came and attacked Moonbase 1. We tried getting away, but the thing sucked us up and ate us. I think I must have gone in the stasis lock, because next thing I know, we was busting out of there. Hot Rod was leading us out now as Rodimus Prime. Man, I was so shook up, I must have over-energized afterwards. I even entered my name wrong when competing for the Galactic Olympics. Blur's still making fun of me. I ain't no monkey spanker.
Hey, Jazz, we're going out for a few Energon shots. Care to join us?
Yeah, man, let's hit it.
anyone else still present was most likely eaten by Unicron. This would include Gears, as he is seen at the computer panel next to Ironhide on Moonbase 1. We know Gears was not on the shuttle with Optimus Prime, Sunstreaker, and the Dinobots later on in the film, so he most likely did not make it out of Unicron with the other Autobots. Not to mention his toy was replaced with Swerve in Season 3. When Galvatron attacks the Autobots on Earth, one of the sweeps is seen blowing up, leading many fans to think that this was one of the two Cyclonus jets. However, the sweeps are able to replicate, similarly how they were able to do so as Insecticons. While they are basically mindless eating machines created by the Quintessons, countless Sharkticons were smashed to bits by Hot Rod, Cup, and the Dinobots. One was made into a toy, as the Decepticon known as Gnaw. Speaking of Dinobots, many wondered what happened to Snarl as he was barely seen. He does show up twice in the film. Once in Dino mode while Ultra Magnus is briefing before the Decepticon attack, and a second time in robot mode aboard the Quintesson ship as it lands on Junkion. The reason for this was that the animation model wasn't passed around the various animators' desks, and they were left with only 4 Dinobots to animate at a given time. So Snarl was there. Finally, when Unicron attacks Cybertron at the climax of the film, Shockwave commands the Decepticons to scramble. In the original script, it states that Unicron's hand would crush his tower, killing him. However, this was never animated, so it is possible that he survived the attack. Adding weight to that is the Conehead Seekers, Dirge, Ramjet, and Thrust. They would be seen being eaten while attacking Unicron. However, they made speaking appearances in Season 3. This would mean that the jets that died were just generic Decepticons. The IDW comic adaptation would also show a Cyclonus clone die instead of a sweep, and would show Shockwave being blasted apart alongside Reflector. But this does not reflect what did happen in the movie. Reflector and Shockwave are present at the Battle of Autobot City, and can be seen during Starscream's coronation, so we know that both of them were on Cybertron during Unicron's attack. Since they chose not to release Reflector outside of being a mail-order toy, I believe that he was indeed killed by Unicron, since they didn't even use his animation model in Season 3 like they did with Shockwave. And with that, I think that covers all of the deaths of who died in the original G1 Transformers movie. But what do you think? Did I miss anyone? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank Raymond Jones for voicing Jazz, as well as all who were willing to voice him. I also want to thank Joe Monzo for voicing the opening, as well as Skids. Joe Monzo will be in the upcoming game Lamplight City. I have more videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to all of you. And as always, until next time.
Man, I must have had one too many Energon shots again. What did I do?
Hey Jazz, loving the body upgrade and the new tattoo. Make the Autobots great again!